Welcome to the second part of building a wine table that folds. In the last video we had drilled out the holes for the pivoting parts of the legs, and we prepared the top, made it into a circle. In this video we will continue working on the legs and then move into the top and drilling the holes in the top. But right now we're about to mark the legs for which side is which. So I marked the other ones A, and this is the second set. They are going to be B. And as we assemble them down the road, I'm going to put an arrow showing which way they go. I also have two more 1/4 inch holes that I have to drill. This is where this is going to be the support that this leg pivots on. So I need to drill the hole through for the bolt. Now I don't want, so the leg's able to pivot, I want to leave a little bit of space so that the leg doesn't quite touch the bottom of the table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the hole 3/4 of an inch in from the edge so that the leg is at the edge of the block, but I'm going to set it 1 inch up. This ruler happens to be about 1 inch wide, so I'm going to mark my 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to verify that it's up 1 inch, which it's not. So right there, that's where I need to drill my hole. And I'm going to do both blocks at the same time again, just to make it easy. Now these are 2 inches wide, so I also need to mark where it's going to touch the table. They're a little over 2 inches wide. Because of the size of these pieces, I can't clamp them top to bottom, so I just put a clamp across the sides, and that'll hold well enough for me to just drill the hole through. Alright, we're finally ready to drill a 1/2 inch holes, but again, these holes have to line up exactly. So I'm going to clamp the boards together. There we are, 1/2 inch hole. Once we get the width, we can cut the dowel off and glue it in place. That's something like what it will look like. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to give these a little bit of a round over. On the prototype, I just kind of gave them a round edge on one side. I think what I want to do for the final version is to give a round over, and we've marked the bottom, so I think I want to give some kind of a round over up here, and then another round, something like I did on the prototype here. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to find something round and trace it. So let me find something of appropriate roundness and we'll trace it and be right back. I found some appropriate round things. So this is a little cup. I'm going to use that for the round over here, and all you do is set the curve where you want it and just trace it with a pencil. I have this little bowl, and that is going to be there. Alright, so I only did one, and the reason for that is I'm going to cut this out, I'm going to sand it, I'm going to trace it onto the other one, and then go from there. So I'm going to do the same. I've got it cut out, smoothed out. I'm going to just attach it to this one and do the same thing. Trace it out, cut it out, smooth it. These do not have to be exact, but it looks better if they're at least close. There we go. Okay, there's one other drilling operation that I'm going to have to do on these legs. I have to countersink the inside edge of the fixed leg. The reason for that is, this side, because when this comes up to close, the bolt is going to be sticking out. So I need to countersink. I can't do that until I actually get the bolts, because I need to know exactly how big to make the countersink and how deep it has to go. So that'll have to wait, but what I've done is I've put these together and I'm going to mark a circle where I have to countersink that, so that I don't get the legs mixed up and put the wrong side in. And then if the hole was just a little bit off, it'll be tough to get these to pivot properly. So what I need to do now is I need to take these original cross lines and see if they're square. My piece wasn't a total perfect square, so these lines are probably not perpendicular, and they're not. They're slightly off, but I really need to have them perfect. So I'm going to erase one line. I'm going to draw a new one at the center mark, perpendicular. So these are now perfectly square to each other, because we're going to measure off of those lines. I've decided, because all the repairs were done down here, this is going to be the end that doesn't get any holes drilled in. So the wine glass holes are going to be here, and the handle is going to be here. Okay, the other thing I have to do is mark the place for these pieces here, which are going to be the pivot point for the legs. Now, I've sized these so that they're going to come right up to the line, but they need to be each one needs to be 4.5 inches from the center line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 4.5 inches. And I'm going to draw a line connecting them. And that's the line I need to line up the inside of these pieces with. One there, and one there. Okay, now I need to figure out where I'm going to put the handle. So the handle is cut in an oval shape that's going to be 5 inches long, and it's going to be 1 inch wide. I don't know, 5 inches may be overkill. I made it 5 inches on the prototype. I may make it 4.5, just to give me a little more meat up here. So on the prototype, we were 6.5 inches from the center line. That's for the center of the groove. So I'm going to go to 6 3/4. That's 2.5. We're going to go to 7. We're going to bring it up. But we're going to make it only 4.5 inches. So if I go 7 inches up for the center line. And then I need to be 2 1/4 for the center, because I'm going to drill a 1-inch hole on each side. So 2 1/4. So what I'm doing now is I'm just marking the centers for the 2 1-inch holes that I'm going to drill. Once the holes are drilled, I will draw a line connecting them and cut out the middle with a jigsaw. All right, we also need to mark where the glasses are going to go. Now, on the prototype, I set the centers 7 inches out. But again, we had a 16-inch board. So instead we have a 1/2 inch more. So if I was going to set it 7.5, but we want to bring it back a 1/2 inch, so we're going to set these centers at 7 inches. So technically we're in the same spot, but the disc is wider. So 7 inches out from the center. And on the prototype, we drilled a 1-inch hole. I think for the final table, we are going to drill a 1 1/4 inch hole, just to give the glass a little more, set the glass a little deeper into the table so it holds a little better. All right, so we're back over at the drill press, and I'm going to drill the 1-inch holes that I'm going to use for the handle. In case of getting this thing lined up. All right. So while I was setting up, I did make a change. I am going to cut the wine glasses holes to 1.5 instead of 1 1/4. Mostly because I have a really nice carbide Forstner bit, which is much better than my 1 1/4 inch bit. So, and it still will hold the glass fine. Thank you for watching part 2 of this video. Part 3 will be coming up probably in another week. This was actually filmed during the beginning parts of the pandemic in April of 2020, and I'm finally getting around to uploading it. I hope you're enjoying these videos. In the next video, we will do some roundovers with the router and get ready to put the thing together.